Good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's Business, Finance, and Justice Committee Budget Hearing. Today is December 6, 2021. Time is now 6:31. I'd like to call this meeting to order. At this time, I would like to ask Representative Patrick Freeman to render our invocation, please. Amen. Widow Representative Freeman. Roll call vote. Legislative Clerk April Lindsay.
Patrick Freeman. Robert Huff.
Present.
Adam Jones.
Here.
William Lowe.
Here.
Travis Scott.
Here.
Chairman, you got 5 present and 0 absent.
5 present, 0 absent. Any business conducted moving forward will be valid. Next item on the agenda is approval of minutes. We have no minutes. Item F, order of business. First department on the agenda is Department of Justice, Office of Justice. Hello, Attorney General. How are you today, sir?
Very good, Mr.
All
Lowe.
right,
Thank
good.
you very much.
You're welcome. Committee, if you have any questions for the Attorney General.
The increases in the budget are due to the McGirt ruling and the extra work we've had to do. We've more than doubled our staff. We have 23 staff members now, whereas before we had about 10. So those costs have all gone up, and the increases in our budget reflect those costs. I feel pretty good about these numbers as far as supporting us through the year. The litigation line item 5412 I'm a bit concerned about because we have 25 petitions for certiorari in the United States Supreme Court where they're seeking to reverse the McGirt decision, and we'll have to file 4 more answers in January. So that'll give us 29. That's a lot of cases to respond to in the United States Supreme Court. So I tell you that to forewarn you that we could be back before the end of the year to ask for more money to help pay for that litigation expense. And it's important because if we don't defend ourselves, we lose that case. We lose everything we've done. And I know no one wants that. So we're doing all we can to defend that.
Any questions from the committee? Comments? Has everybody had enough time to review comments or questions?
Chair, make a motion to pass the budget as presented.
Representative Robert Huff makes a motion to pass the budget as presented.
Second.
Seconded by Representative Jones. Discussion. Any discussion from the committee? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Robert Huff.
Yes.
Adam Jones.
Yes.
Travis Scott.
Yes.
Patrick Freeman.
Yes.
Chairman, you got 4 in favor and 0 against.
4 in favor, 0 against. Budget of Office of Justice passes. Widow Attorney General. Next item on the agenda, child support. Good evening.
Good evening. I'm presenting here a budget for fiscal year 2020. Our office establishes and enforces child support orders for Muskogee Nation. The budget reflects personnel of 20 employees, and also travel, the supplies we use. Other line items include building operations and maintenance. We have a satellite office in Jinx that we have to maintain as well. The contractual is for things like paternity diagnostic testing, and also for some of the resources we use for locate purposes, locating individuals, and also for our database upkeep and upgrade that's going on right now, and also for the attorney time that we utilize for our court cases in both Muskogee Nation and state courts.
Any discussion, questions from the committee while you review? Questions, comments, committee?
Chairman, make a motion to accept the budget as presented.
Representative Robert Huff makes a motion to accept child support budget as presented.
Second.
Seconded by Representative Patrick Freeman. Any discussion? Any discussion, committee? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Robert Huff,
Yes.
Adam Jones,
Yes.
Travis Scott,
Yes.
Patrick Freeman.
Yes.
Chairman, you got 4 in favor and 0 against.
4 in favor, 0 against. The budget for child support passes. No. Next item on the agenda is the legislative branch. Speaker Hicks. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Chairman Lowe, representatives. Chairman Lowe, at this, I would like to request that the legislative budget be postponed until Wednesday.
Great.
We went into Munis and did a printout, and the changes that we made were not actually changed on Munis, so I don't want to just give you the report tonight and rush through it or try to explain the changes to you. I'd rather you have it in black and white. So,
Yes, sir.
it's a pleasure of the committee. That would be my request.
Okay. Go ahead. Motion to
Postpone till Wednesday.
Representative Robert Huff makes a motion to postpone to Wednesday,
Second.
seconded by Representative Adam Jones. Roll call vote, please.
Robert Huff,
Yes.
Adam Jones,
Yes.
Travis Scott,
Yes.
Patrick Freeman.
Yes.
Chairman, you got 4 in favor and 0 against.
4 in favor, 0 against. Legislative branch budget has been postponed until Wednesday, December 8th. What else,
Thank you,
Speaker?
Chair.
Yeah. Next department is Judicial Branch District Court.
All set. Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
You need those?
All right, Judge Biegler, if you just want to give us a quick summary, sir.
Sure. Of course, this is a significant increase due to McGirt. And I would note that the court has not come for any supplemental appropriation since McGirt was passed. We'd hoped that we got to this point, and I think that at this point we need to increase staff and our facilities. There's also, we have the bankruptcy building above the post office, which we've negotiated, but we are waiting for the monies for next year because it's not in our budget now. The increased salaries for judges, and we probably are, I'm not sure if it's doubling or what for our clerks. We had 4 or 5 currently, and we're adding 3 or 4 more, and that's where a lot of this budget increases come from. We're right at the limit of what we're capable of doing at this point without increased staff and facilities. We are simply not going to be able to handle the caseload in the next month. We absolutely have to get this through, or else we're just going to be, things are going to start falling apart.
Comments, questions from the committee as you review?
I would add that we've got some BIA grants which are online, but have not been finalized out of DC yet. And so we're hoping that'll be a help, but those haven't come down the line yet. So I would note that.
Comments, questions, committee, council representatives, Mr. Darnell. I'm sorry, sir, I can't hear what he says.
Can you pass this subject to changes in the fringe and indirect rates that are listed in this budget?
Are they going to be significant?
No.
Just minor? Committee, did you hear
Yes,
that?
sir.
You willing to pass it? Very well, okay. Comments from council representatives in attendance. Sorry about that earlier. Any comments? committee. Entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make the motion to approve budget as presented.
Representative Robert Huff makes a motion to approve the budgets as presented.
Second.
Seconded by Representative Patrick Freeman. Discussion. Any discussion from the committee? Council representatives in attendance? Or online, I'm sorry. Sorry about that, folks online. Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Robert Huff,
Yes.
Adam Jones,
Yes.
Travis Scott,
Yes.
Patrick Freeman.
Yes.
Chairman, you got 4 in favor and 0
4 in
against.
favor, 0 against. District Court budget passes.
Seven
Vote,
yes.
Judge Bickler.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda, Supreme Court. Good evening.
Good evening.
You'd go ahead and give us a brief summary of your budget, please.
Okay. Our budget request worksheet that you have there for 2022 reflects our salary for, we have 3 full-time employees. We have a staff attorney, court clerk is myself, and we have a deputy court clerk. The other salaries there are for our 7 part-time justices, where their salary has been set by code. That hasn't changed. The other thing, we have some travel listed for our attorneys. We have 2 attorneys that are out of state that travel in for our court hearings. The other thing that's not really increased, but our contractual line item, that's to pay for attorney cases that we have in federal court currently, that we're still defending. So we've kept the budget pretty much within, I think, what the chief has asked. We had a little bit that had to go over because we cannot change the figures we currently have. But other than that, I've also submitted our 2021 SEBA report and our 2022 there for you to review.
Great.
Have any questions?
Thank you. Any questions from the committee? Council representatives in attendance or online? Please feel free to ask.
Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve the budget as presented.
Representative Patrick Freeman makes a motion to approve budget as presented.
Second.
Seconded by Representative Robert Huff. Discussion. Any discussion from the council representatives in attendance or online? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Patrick Freeman,
Yes.
Robert Huff,
Yes.
Adam Jones,
Yes.
Travis Scott.
Yes.
Chairman, you got 4 in favor and 0 against.
4 in favor, 0 against. The Supreme Court budget passes. But have a good evening. Next item on the agenda, Executive Branch, Office of the Principal Chief. Thank you. Good evening, Chief.
Good evening. I think you have with you the budget and also the CB report. Just on the far right-hand corner, or the far right-hand in yellow is just what kind of the plus and minus, but the bottom line stayed the same as last year. Final budget.
Okay.
And on the Schedule A, which most of y'all know that Chibon had took an early retirement, so that's still open. And also the liaison assistant, with Second Chief probably discussed as well that there was 2 assistants under Second Chief, and we will move 1 to be under the liaison.
Gotcha. Any questions, comments from the committee?
Yes, Chair. Chief, I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Chief, can we get a breakdown of contractual and legal services?
Yeah, I'll send it again. I mean, I think I sent it before, but we'll send it again.
Can we get that from current date all the way up to the current date? What I want to look at to see is where Joe Williams was paid out of and what silos. Is that all right, Chief?
Just from my branch?
Yes.
Any other questions? Comments? Representatives in attendance online? Any comments or questions?
Chair, make a motion to pass the budget as presented.
Representative Robert Huff makes a motion to approve the budget as presented.
Second.
Seconded by Representative Travis Scott. Discussion. Any discussion from the committee, council representatives online? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Robert Huff,
Yes.
Adam Jones,
Yes.
Travis Scott,
Yes.
Patrick Freeman.
Yes.
Chairman, you got 4 in favor and 0 against.
4 in favor, 0 against. The Office of Principal Chief budget passes. Hello, Chief. Next item on the agenda, Office of the Second Chief.
Oh, Representative Lowe?
Yes, sir.
Did y'all have the second one? Complex security?
Is that complex security? Yes, sir. Do we need to review that real quick as well? Did y'all
it
review that too?
It was taken away probably 2 years ago.
And y'all bringing it back, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to summarize real quick, sir?
Just
Did
basically
y'all
what-
see what we're looking at real quick, folks? Okay. Go ahead, Chief.
Basically just put them back in with, as of right now, there is no security. So
Right.
just have one around McCombs building, just give them a daily schedule on where they're supposed to go. Safe space as well. You know,
Right.
we've had different people pull up and basically just putting that back in.
Super. Any discussion from the committee, council representatives in attendance online for complex security?
Make a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Representative Travis Scott makes a motion to approve budget as presented, seconded by Representative Adam Jones III. Discussion. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Travis Scott,
Yes.
Patrick Freeman.
Yes.
Robert Huff.
Yes.
Adam Jones.
Yes.
Chairman, you got 4 in favor and 0 against.
4 in favor, 0 against. The complex security budget passes. What up,
No.
Chief? All right, Second Chief. Now, now we'll get to you, sir.
All right. Good evening, council. Good to see you all in
Evening,
person.
sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Hope everybody's doing well tonight. My budget's the same as last year. If you want to look at the difference between the proposed budget of FY22 and FY21, the biggest difference is I increased the salary of my assistant. As Chief stated, last year I had 2 assistants, and we moved one underneath the at-large department because we felt that's the greater need. I don't need 2 assistants, and so my assistant really added duties. She also helps with the chief of staff day-to-day activities, the tribal administrators' day-to-day activities, and so she's really taken on a lot of different duties. And you know, being in that position, you really don't have days off, and so even when she's not there at work, she's still working. So that's really the main difference that you'll see. But it's a flat budget though, and you know my salary doesn't change. So.
Thank you, sir. Any questions, comments from the committee? Council representatives in attendance online? Any questions or discussion?
Motion approved.
Representative Adam Jones makes a motion to approve the budget as presented.
Second.
Seconded by Representative, I'm sorry, who was that, please? Robert Huff? Okay. Seconded by Representative Robert Huff. Discussion. Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Adam Jones.
Yes.
Travis Scott.
Yes.
Patrick Freeman.
Yes.
Robert Huff.
Yes.
Chairman, you got 4 in favor and 0
4 in
against.
favor, 0 against. The office of the Second Chief budget passes. No, Second Chief. Next item on the agenda, Chief of Staff. Good evening,
evening.
Tracy.
It is going to seem a little thin as there was not a budget in 21 for the COS position.
Okay.
So what we've put together is a current budget. It's mostly based on travel and salary, as most of the time I am off with chief or attending meetings. Currently, I am paid under the tribal administrator's role as I'm doing double duties. And so I looked at that travel to see where we were, and then used that and kind of added a couple things, assuming that 22 will be more of a normal year than 21 was.
Okay. Any comments, discussion from the committee?
I have a question.
Representative Adam Jones.
Was looking at your travel. Do you have a tribal credit card?
I do.
Okay. Have you lately purchased any alcohol on that tribal credit card?
Accidentally, there are times that there have been, if I've had dinner, that anything that's not allowable should then to be excluded. And I did receive notice that one receipt or 2 receipts actually accidentally had something on it. It was accidental.
Could we get a copy of that presented to this committee as well?
Yeah, GSA has, or they have all the travel.
Thank you.
And all of that is not allowed is to be excluded.
So I guess, Chief, in the past, we kind of done away with the tribal credit cards because of the second chief in the past. You remember that? Well, it's kind of what we used to have to do anyway, and then, gotcha. But it's kind of working into the same thing, so thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Representative Jones. Any more comments, questions from the committee, council representatives in attendance online?
Chairman, I make a motion to approve the budget as presented.
Representative Robert Huff makes a motion. Yes.
Chairman Lucian.
Yes, Lucian.
Representative Jones, what was your question earlier?
I asked Chief of Staff if she had a tribal credit card. And then I asked
That's
chief of
just-
staff if she had purchased alcohol on that credit card.
Chairman,
Yes.
would it also be possible to have documentation, see what travel the chief of staff has taken,
We have that.
justification for the travel as well, please, before this budget's passed?
It's on here, right?
I can't see it. I just want to know how much travel was expended from October 1st till current, and justification for the travel, please.
Okay. You get that?
Representative Blow, I can address that.
Yeah, from October 1 of 2020, but it is 2020 to current.
Please.
Yes, we got you, Representative Tiger. Travel from October 1, 2020 to current. Any more discussion? If not, back to the motion on the floor by Representative Robert Huff. He made a motion to approve the budget as presented.
Second.
Seconded by Representative Travis Scott. Any more discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Robert Huff,
Yes.
Adam Jones,
No.
Travis Scott,
Yes.
Patrick Freeman.
No.
Chairman, we got a tie vote. We have in a case of a tie, we have Chairman Lowe, you get to vote. William Lowe.
My vote will be no.
Chairman, you got 2 in favor and 3 against.
2 in favor, 3 against. The budget for Chief of Staff fails, and we'll revisit that Wednesday, correct?
Yes, we'll put it back.
Tracy, we'll reconvene and visit that on Wednesday, our next budget hearing.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda, Secretary of the Nation. Can you all hear me out there? Is it still working over? Okay. Old man hearing. Sorry, folks. Good evening, Tara. How are you?
Good evening. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Chairman Lowe, I have a couple of departments that weren't listed on the agenda, but they're
Okay.
present here tonight when we finish. Just a few.
Okay, great. All right, Tara, if you could give us a summary, please.
So my first budget is the indirect cost budget. It's the account that starts T8700. It should say indirect in the top right-hand corner. And on the far right-hand side is my FY22 budget proposal. Both my budgets are flat. There are some changes to the line items that were made to accommodate what I expect will be a different year in 2022. In particular, you'll see increases to the travel line, to training fees, and then to our equipment costs and communications. The equipment and communications costs are directly related to being fully staffed on this budget and the cost for cellular and printing, rental, that kind of thing, standard costs for the office. The training fees is because we are fully staffed, and I have new staff, particularly in the self-governance position, which is included in this budget. And myself will continue to go to training for self-gov. We are interested in expanding our self-governance opportunities. And need some additional assistance, particularly in the transportation area where we are fully analyzing that opportunity for the nation. And then there's a leadership training that staff is interested in participating in, but we're awaiting a full budget. The travel increase is not tied to the training, but is something that I'm personally interested in because of the acquisitions that we've recently made as the nation. There are some commerce opportunities and some industries that we would like to participate in. And as many of you know who participate in economic development, unfortunately that requires either national travel or regional travel. So I did place additional funding in there. Obviously the expenditures in 2021 don't reflect what a normal year would look like, but budgeted in anticipation of a normal year for commerce-related activities. So those are the significant changes in that budget. But the overall budget, again, is flat.
Okay. Comments or question, committee? Yes, Representative Jones.
Hi, Tara.
Hello.
Tara, on your office manager, they're just part-time?
No, they're a full-time staff member. Office manager, the second line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's all I was asking. Thank you.
Okay. Any more questions, comments, committee? Council representatives in attendance online? Are you going to discuss this other budget as well, or?
Yes, sir,
Okay,
if you don't mind.
Yes, by all means. If there's no comments, questions, we good to continue? Thank you. Go ahead.
Okay. So the second budget is from a gaming fund. It starts with T1100, and again on the far right-hand side is my proposed budget. It is also a flat budget. There have been some changes to the salary line that's more significant in this budget than the other. That's primarily because we've changed around the position responsibilities, and in order to gain the professionalized staff necessary to support those positions, we had to offer a little more, particularly around the economic development piece that we discussed. So bringing in talent to make sure that the nation's positioned to leverage recent acquisitions was really our goal there. That position was recently filled. So that's the big change, and of course, as a result, the indirect and fringe have changes. I will note that the expenditures for 2021 look very limited because those positions were empty for a significant amount of time. We had a transition from that office early in fiscal year 21, and that position remained open for nearly 8 months while we recruited talent here, which is why we made some changes. And then another position was filled just in April. So that's why the expenditures look so low. So if I can answer any questions, I'm happy to do that as well.
Great. Any questions from the committee? Council representatives?
Chair, make a motion to approve budget as presented.
Representative Robert Huff makes a motion to approve the budget as presented.
Second.
Seconded by Representative Adam Jones III. Discussion. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Robert Huff,
Yes.
Adam Jones,
Yes.
Travis Scott,
Yes.
Patrick Freeman. Chairman, you got 4 in favor and 0 against.
4 in favor, 0 against. The Secretary of the Nation budget passes. Tara. Next item on the agenda, marketing and tourism. Good evening, Kyle. How are you?
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. I'm doing great. How about
Good.
yourself?
Doing well, thank you. If you'd give us a quick summary of your budget, please.
Yes, sir. So my budget is flat as requested. There are some minor line changes, and I'll go over those briefly. Salary and wages has a slight increase. I have 2 employees that became managers during this fiscal year, and now have staff underneath them, so they got small increases based on their new responsibilities. The fees line is up by 12 grand because our department's paying for the Oklahoma Tribal Consortium Economic Impact Study now. So we paid for half this fiscal year, and we're paying for the other half in FY22. And equipment lease rentals up because we're now sharing the cost of our printer with communications. And the other line that's increased is just the communications line. Other than that, the other decreases reflect those increases to make the budget flat for this year.
Great, thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Any comments or questions from the committee? Council representatives in attendance online? Any discussion? We'll entertain a motion to approve if there's no comments.
Chair, make the motion to approve the budget as presented.
Representative Robert Huff makes a motion to approve the budget as presented. Seconded by Representative Patrick Freeman. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Robert Huff,
Yes.
Adam Jones,
Yes.
Travis Scott,
Yes.
Patrick Freeman. Chairman, you got 4 in favor and 0 against.
4 in favor, 0 against. The budget of marketing and tourism passes.
Mado.
Next item on the agenda, Athletic Commission.
Chairman, I have 3 more departments that are here tonight. I have planning and grants, the Fountainhead Creek Golf Course, and recreation. Could we take them in that order? Would that be okay?
Committee, are you all fine with that? Yes, let's do it. Planning and grants, Fountainhead, and recreation, correct? Let's say Fountainhead for last, because, okay, I'm messing with you, Steve. So now we will be discussing planning and grants. Okay, all right. Put it in my notes. How are you, sir? Good, thank you, thank you. My apologies, sir. I don't even know what your name is. Could you introduce yourself?
Micah White.
Okay, outstanding. The floor is yours, sir. If you would give us a quick summary. Thank you.
Okay. So most of this increase that I am proposing in this budget is due to a new grant writer position.
Okay.
With McGirt, we have been seeking diligently a lot more grant funds and also having to manage a larger number of funds due to ARPA and CURSA and everything else that's come in. So right now we run a staff of 5, but the demand on that has been pretty heavy, especially when we get into the thick of the grant season. And so it's resulted in a lot of overtime that my employees have had to put in to manage this. So with that, there is some other lines like the training fees and travel that is included in there. So if you'll see on the 3rd page, there are justifications for that.
Great. All right, any comments, questions? Committee? Council representatives? Online in attendance? Any discussion?
Chair, make a motion to approve the budget as presented.
Representative Robert Huff makes a motion to approve the budget as presented, seconded by Representative Adam Jones III. Discussion. Any more discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Robert Huff,
Yes.
Adam Jones,
Yes.
Travis Scott,
Yes.
Patrick Freeman. Chairman, you got 4 in favor and 0 against.
4 in favor, 0 against. The budget of planning and grants passes. What else, sir? Next item on the agenda, who was it again? Fountainhead. Good. Mr. Fox, if you would go ahead and summarize your budget for the committee, please.
We're not exactly a flat budget. We're pretty close. A couple of line items that had some significant increases on here that'll show where one of them was the indirect cost with the percentage change. The other is land management and development, which I have $11,000 in there over last year. That's to cover basically two things. One of those is to pre-emerge the entire golf course the exact same way, which we didn't do this year. We had to split it up and do fairways one way and the rough a different way, and you could definitely tell a difference. The other is two increased insecticide applications to the entire property to try and help with the hog issue, because the hogs are destroying us almost on a daily basis, even with traps out and baiting them. So I'm going to try and do some insecticide applications to the whole property and keep their food source away, so hopefully we can keep them away.
Any questions from the committee? Council representatives?
Chairman?
Yes.
What did the Fountainhead make last year at the golf course? They making money last year?
Our total revenues last year were, I believe, around 177 last year was our total revenue.
Okay, thank you.
Any more discussion, questions?
Motion approved.
Motion to approve by Representative Adam Jones, seconded by Representative Patrick Freeman. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Adam Jones?
Yes.
Travis Scott?
Yes.
Patrick Freeman?
Yes.
Robert Huff?
Yes.
Chairman, you got 4 in favor and 0 against.
4 in favor, 0 against. The Fountainhead budget passes. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you, Joe.
Next item on the agenda, recreation. Sure as hell. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
All right.
I apologize on the, my bottom line got cut off on the printout that I handed you, but the only significant change in our budget is in the equipment line. We've asked for an additional $5,000 in that line. And the reason being, we've got some equipment that we're spending an average of about $4,000 to $6,000 a year on in maintenance and repairs. And they've definitely seen their better days. Right. So we're hoping to replace those before the summer of this year.
Good deal.
And that's really the only thing that changes our bottom line in our budget this year.
Super. Comments, questions from the committee? Council representatives online, in attendance?
Motion approved.
Representative Adam Jones makes a motion to approve the budget as presented.
Second.
Seconded by Representative Robert Huft. Discussion. Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Adam Jones?
Yes.
Travis Scott?
Yes.
Patrick Freeman?
Yes.
Robert Huff?
Yes.
Chairman, you got 4 in favor and 0 against.
4 in favor, 0 against. The budget for recreation passes.
Thank you.
Sir. You're welcome. So there is no athletic commission, or there is an athletic commission? Is that, there's none? Okay, we'll just go right on through. All right, next item on the agenda. Communications has been set for Wednesday. I did speak with Mr. Salzman and approved that this evening, so we'll visit with him Wednesday. Now we're down to contracting employment. Sir, my apologies. Could you please give us your name?
Absolutely. Good evening. My name is Warren Harjo.
Okay, all right. I forgot your name, actually, so pleasure to meet you again. But if you would, sir, please summarize your budget for us.
Yes, absolutely. I just joined CISO approximately 6 weeks ago, and I'm glad to be here. So thank you all. Basically, our budget is flat right now. I think going forward, some of the goals that we have in place, we're going to try to grow at least 20%. So that's going to be pretty aggressive, but I think it's attainable this coming year. And also, I think that that's only going to help with to be more competitive within our CISO vendors for the tribe itself. Currently, I think looking for, on the second page, approximately on the 22 budget, our support services is probably the only thing that we may have to ask for supplemental income later on, just because of our fees are lower than a lot of the other tribes. So again, if I can be aggressive and bring more CISO preferred vendors in, then maybe the fees will offset that. So other than that, I think, again, we are flat across the board on that.
Thank you, sir. Any comments, questions from the committee? Council representatives online in attendance?
Motion approved.
Representative Adam Jones makes a motion to approve the budget for contracting employment. Seconded by Representative Patrick Freeman. Discussion. Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Adam Jones?
Yes.
Travis Scott?
Yes.
Patrick Freeman? Yes. Robert Huff?
Yes.
Chairman, you got 4 in favor and 0 against.
4 in favor, 0 against. The budget for contracting employment passes. Mado, Mr. Harjo. Appreciate it, sir. Next item on the agenda, Muskogee Loan Fund.
Thank you, Chairman, Councilman. I would like to ask to defer. There's a document I would like to do to make things cleaner on what we're going to request.
Okay.
If that would be possible.
Defer to Wednesday.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Committee, you good with that? Any questions? We can do that, sir. So we will revisit with you Wednesday evening. Okay. We'll be ready to go. Thank you so much, sir. Have a great evening. Next item on the agenda, self-governance.
Self-governance is on the indirect budget that I presented earlier, so it's not a separate budget. I apologize.
You're good. Last item on the agenda, emergency management. He has to be rescheduled, so all right. We are down to item G, other business. Committee, do we have any other business? Announcements. Do we have any announcements? Adjournment. We're down to the adjournment. Did I get a motion to it? I'm sorry, who was that? Representative Robert Huff made a motion to adjourn. Seconded by Representative Travis Scott. Voice vote. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed, same sign. If we could, Representative Adam Jones, could you say our benediction for this evening?